Come on up here, Hamdiya. Come on up here, Hamdiya.
Okay. On the other side of the page is the paper is Determination Pledge. Let's say that together. As members of All of Us or None, we pledge to demand the right to speak in our own voices, to treat each other with respect and not allow differences to divide us, to accept responsibility for any acts that have caused harm to our families, our communities, or ourselves, to fight all forms of discrimination, to help build the equality of formerly incarcerated people, to claim and take care of our own children and our families, to support community struggles to stop using prisons as an answer to social problems, to play an active role in making our communities safe for everyone. All of us?
Hey, like, all across the United States, we done broke out in about 32 chapters. Some of the work that y'all putting down has long since been to local work, and it's traveling national. You know, and sometimes I done had people tell me about all different kind of stuff, and then when they jam me up, I say, what code of conduct do your organization operate by? And do you have it codified in writing so everybody that comes behind you has something that they can say about homophobia, sexism, racism, or all the rest of that? So before we even took the first step, we was talking about how did equity look for all of us. You know, I want to welcome you into the National Conference of All of Us or None. You know, and I want to welcome you in a way into my dreams and not my nightmares. You know, and I took you to Alcatraz for a purpose. Because for some of us who've been to jail and prison, do you not remember what you promised the homies when you left? Now, some of y'all made some promises. I ain't going to forget. And not forget means more than the $20 that you occasionally send, or the love letter that you write behind. It means more than that. So I just wanted to, tell you that I'm pulling you together so we can report to each other. Because it's very easy for us to forget who we're supposed to be of service to and who we're supposed to be reporting to, right? So like, I get all kind of grant money from all over the place, and I'm writing everybody a report. I didn't get into the work to write everybody else a report. I got into the work to be of service to the homies. So if I don't pull y'all together, excuse me, I'm emotional right now too. Got a lot of things going on in my life. But what I'm telling you is that we got to learn how to report to each other, or else we're not going to learn each other's best practices. And y'all can do simple stuff. Like Wisconsin, when y'all walked in with that tam with the fist on it, I'm still in that stuff. So we had tams all over Oakland with the fist on it in a minute. Because I done seen people from different states wearing All of Us None shirts, and I know that I didn't print those. But it's certain stuff that I think that I wanted to do because, over the course of time, people have told me many things about me. And a lot of it really, really made me feel really, really great. They told me how bright I was. They told me how articulate I was. They told me how exceptional I was. And then one day I heard them say something, and they didn't know I heard them say it. They told me that I was different. And I was able to redefine what they were telling me. They was telling me, you cool, but all your homies ain't anything. I was never the sharpest person in any prison. I was never the sharpest person in any jail. I was the person generally lifting more weights. You know, I might have been more handsome than most people. Might have been. Could have been one or two better looking people. But the part that I want to tell you, it wasn't like I was exceptional. It was like they wasn't giving my homies a break. They wasn't giving them the same piece, you know. So like the first thing that I want to tell you is that we've been making progress, but every that shows up to the party, they think the party starts at the point of entry as a part of joining a line in a progressive line. So I remember when most of us didn't have the right to vote. I've been at this 51 years. So the party for me started in 1971. So if you know, so the field looks completely different in 2022 than it did in 1991. So what I want to do, because like at first, the only thing that we was capable of being was somebody else's client. What happens when we start outgrowing that? By the way, what client mean is dependent upon. What happened when we really start thinking about self-determination? When we really start outgrowing. And I can remember when we was fighting for voting rights the first time around. And I'm going to hurry this up because I really want Latifah to do this in this panel. I can remember the first time that we fought for voting rights, we went in as a named petitioner. And we won. And everybody around us got paid. All the attorneys that represented us. The next time we sat down at that table, we was co-counsel. You seen pictures on the billboard of younger Dorsey, younger people that was there. We was on every billboard. It was all of us and none. And at no point did it say all of us and none. It gave attribution to every other organization that had money, but none of the peoples that was putting their reputation online and actually was stepping out the closet about their conviction history. Today I want to bring up a number of people. I don't even know if Desmond made it yet. All right. Did Desmond make it? Okay. Because like, you know, what I want to do is to show you in part what some of the leadership has been since you've been at the party. Because at a certain point, there's some things that we accomplish that's been monumental things. Unless we talk about them, you might think somebody else actually did the stuff when what could have been at the lead of that struggle could have been formerly incarcerated people themselves. So you need to see who we are so you can see who you are. That's what I want to give. And like I said at the last stop, I think I got 2 more years and I'm finna sit down. But I don't want to sit down until I'm absolutely sure, at least within all of us and none in legal services for prisoners with children, that the next generation have somebody that's as committed to what this cause is I've been committed. And as a formerly incarcerated person, excuse me, Latifah, as a formerly incarcerated person, I can name at least 3 occasions when I made decisions that nobody else in the room who hadn't been formerly incarcerated would have made. You know, I don't know if George Galvez is in the room. We was fighting gang injunction in Oakland. And I can remember that the attorneys told us that was we couldn't win legally. And I invested the resources of legal services for prisoners with children in it. And we didn't win in court. But they didn't know that we was fighting more than in court. We won because we actually kicked out the city manager out the city of Oakland and changed the whole landscape. That was a victory that they didn't anticipate. And you start seeing them contract because we got stronger. You know, another time, I was on the phone call when they started actually talking about whether or not we was going to litigate the Ashker case and ending long-term solitary confinement. And the leading attorneys in the state said that we can visit this point in another year. And I was sitting there thinking, well, my homie's been in the hole for 30 years. You know, 30 years. And I was scared, and I was a new director because I knew that the same people that we was fighting used to kill us from the gun rail. And the decision that I made was to throw my agency into the fight. I just had been advised that that wasn't the brightest thing to do. And what I can tell you is that we helped end long-term solitary confinement in the state of California. And I said that we helped, but one of the main driving forces to ending long-term solitary confinement was thousands and thousands of formerly incarcerated people, and currently incarcerated people on hunger strike. It wasn't that we did it by ourselves. We did it with each other. The only thing I had was resources and had the ability to ask an attorney and give her the authority to represent the organization, and we put our resources into it. Those 2 decisions I just named weren't a decision that I thought somebody who simply went to law school would have made on our behalf. So it's going to take me 2 years to transfer what I know and to actually spot up in such a way. How am I doing over there, Hamdiya? She rode with me when we didn't have any resources. She rode with me, and all of this stuff is the first time she didn't plan out most of it because she had to do the audit, so we didn't did every role. So what I'm telling you is some parts of what we did was monumental work. And what I'm saying, I never was the sharpest knife in the drawer, and all of y'all probably as intelligent as I am, you're probably under-resourced in a real way. And we have a national movement, whether you recognize it or not. Whether you hear as all of us are none, or whether you hear at something else that we helped form, which is the formerly incarcerated and convicted people and family movement, and we wrote the first planks on that program too. All the time we was talking about building. And we was talking about let's organize together as opposed to organizing separately, because at a certain point, we got to have a buy-in. And this is all I want to do is welcome you into the room. And I want to know is if Desmond here and Norris is here and Latifah's here, let's probably kick off this first panel. So we're going to give the people, and give me a break from talking because, you know, I'm standing out there seeing all of y'all beautiful faces, and I will start crying Because 51 years ago, when I would normally step in the room, it would just be me. All right?